It's all about Kingdom Health Services on the street, 919 FM.
The Embassy Yacht is back and ready to transform your events into unforgettable experiences. Launched from King's Wharf, San Fernando, the perfect starting point for an epic experience of luxury, music, and celebration on the open water. By booking our vessel, your event will include a house DJ, state-of-the-art sound system, fully stocked bar, dedicated cleaning crew, top-notch security. This isn't just a venue, it's a floating masterpiece designed to make your event the talk of the town. Imagine your guests dancing under the stars, drinks in hand, with breathtaking views of the coastline as your backdrop. From birthdays to corporate events to exclusive parties, the Embassy Yacht offers promoters a unique platform to create unforgettable memories and boost your brand's reputation. Call or WhatsApp 399-5959 or email embassycruises@gmail.com.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of this street.
ISUPK, Trinidad and Tobago, under Commanding General Johanna. We will be live on the streets, 91.9 FM, every Thursday from 7 p.m. Hosted by Officer Sawapya Allah and Officer Makwaya.
West to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me.
ISUPK, under Commanding General Johanna, live every Thursday night from 7 p.m. on the streets, 91.9 FM.
Right, yeah, shalom again.
Shalom.
Right, Prison Officer Sawapyala.
Prison Officer Maikwa.
Right.
Prison Officer Barrier.
Right, again a little feedback here. Yeah. So in 1-2-1-2. Right, yeah, that's all. Right, again. This is ISUPK Trinidad and Tobago under Commanding General Johanna. Again, I'm Prison Officer Sawapyala.
I am Prison Officer Maikwa.
I'm Prison Officer Barrier.
Right, again, we have, our next brother in the building as well, holding it down, for Prison Officer Maikwa, Prison Officer Maikwa, right? So, again, our brother, coming up strong in the truth, and breaking down and again, check him out, every Monday, right? Every Monday, he is, interchange classes as well, right? Check him out as well, right? Again, my brothers will be coming in from time to time, again, bringing this out, bringing this truth out. Again, just a reminder for brothers and sisters, again, the upcoming, feast day, which is the Feast of Akaneka, right? Or the Feast of Dedication, where, we had brothers, who stood for this truth, and, to rededicate, the temple, right, by, standing for these laws, statutes, and commandments, and, being a pillar to us today as a family and as a house, where, we could look back, through our history, through our records, and understand, why these men stood and stand for this truth. Because now, again, the customs that, the heathens them portray is some that us as a people, gravitate to, and, it caught us up, especially in seasons, right? Because I know every time, seasons come around, right, we as a people or a family would tend to, to gravitate to certain things that would pacify our lust or desire just by being around, these other nations. And again, the problem is not, us being around them, because they were always around us. We did business with them, but we, lost that tendency of understanding what or how to do business and gravitate to the custom and the ways. And this is this was their trump card,
right?
In gaining, as we say, or building that momentum and gaining grounds. Because I know a lot of people saw it had many, I would say, clips or videos circulating on the internet where it would have the marathon running, and the black person, right? Again, when I talk about black, we come from a family from a low status. That word black just mean low, right? And again, remind brothers and sisters, we let our brothers and sisters know that again we are not Africans, right? We belong to a house or a family.
That's right.
The Africans as well, they just use that title because taking up the ways of the custom of the heathen, they like that to portray that. But if you go to them direct, they will identify themselves by who they are, the children of Ham.
That's right.
Right? Or on that landmass, they would identify themselves as Ghanaians, Somalians, you name it. They would identify, but they already know who they are. Okay. But they use that term to a broad perspective to try to, let me say, to come up underneath who the real Jews are, who black people are. And Jew just means short for Judah or Jerusalem. Because now the ones, again, we were the Jews in Jerusalem or the tribe of Judah. And this is something that a lot of people would always use and try to manipulate. And this is the importance of us bringing this truth out, bringing this reminder out to this house, to this family. Because without this truth now, we see what we face daily and we see what's happening. Because imagine again, as we say, the world bully. You could just bully anybody and just and they talk about that. There are programs talking about bullying in school. What we see happening right now is plain and blatant, and now you want to understand where we learn this from, or where as we say, people learn this from. This is a perfect example of what you call, as you say, bullying. And we see it plain and blatant. And anybody turning a blind eye to it, you helping, as we say, to make that situation, or to quail it, to bring it to a point where it is right to do it. So now when the end result come, as you say, when the individual want to stand for themselves now you, to justify the cause of being bullied, now on the next end, and the reason why we must speak as is because everything censored right now. Even the program censored right now, and a lot of people understand, and this is again how black people just talk. They talk in slang. So everybody don't understand or could know what we're really talking about. Again, the situation was taking place with our neighbor, our brothers Asha, and the escalation between again our oppressor, right? And again, we continue on again because this topic that we have been, as we say, in this season, because again everything's seasonal, and it's very important for us to really touch and to read out of our records so brothers and sisters could know and understand. Because again, on a whole in religion, they would utilize again all, as we say, the records of the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians or black people, to use, just like how our oppressor did it, to gain or to build momentum or to, as we say, to build the empire. Because now when you're doing that business, and the business that they use to do it is seasons like this, like that's Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's, you name some of them that come about seasonal.
So if I may, right, and where you're bringing out is so true, right? Because when you look up the economic side of all these holidays and seasons that they push towards the black communities, right, and the Hispanic communities, right, the numbers are astounding. You understand? There's billions of dollars being made off of these holidays, right? And our people are on the buying side of it. We're not selling anything, you understand? Right? We consuming, right? And if our people become more aware of the economics and what really goes on, then they would see how far down that our nation has become, right? Because of these holidays. Salakia.
Right. And again, what also Iwer bringing out, again, it's true. And what we're going to read from, again, so we go jump right into it. Is some that we remind brothers and sisters that we have a rich history, a rich culture, and the heathen they know this, and every time we as we say bring it to light, their job or their duty is to overshadow it. That's why again in Job 9:25 say the earth is given to the hand of the wicked.
Right.
It covers the faces of the judges thereof, because now we are the ones who would see some that is being done not right and withdraw or bring a light to it. Because this is the truth. Because if I come to you and I draw light and I make you know, hey, this thing that you're doing is not right. Now that is the truth. What the truth supposed to do, it's supposed to check you. And when you get checked, what happens? Is either two things. As I say, when the righteous fall, you know, again he get up and he try to correct you. But when the wicked fall, they continue in the wicked ways.
That's right.
All this recorded inside the head. And this is the importance of us knowing our records, knowing our history, knowing again the tales that is written in our recorded history book,
right,
which is the Bible, a compilation of books, right? So when you think you could start that book.
The book of Maccabees.
First Maccabees.
First Maccabees 1 and 47.
Right.
Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts.
Right, go ahead.
That they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation.
Right, so this is where we left off, right? And again, it said the heathen and them polluted the sanctuary, right? Anybody, you know, that has, you know, a place where they could go to get a peace of mind, you know, is deemed to be a sanctuary. In our, you know, in Jerusalem, what we had a place where, you know, we would gather, come together,
right,
to honor the Lord. And this place would be a sanctuary, a place of worship, where we would be, you know, we'd gather ourselves together and again and sit down in times like these, and the priest would bring before, you know, the records and read it before the people. Just that why we read in Nehemiah, we read in Ezra. These are things that was done before.
Right.
The men of the Lord, as we say, bringing this record to the families, to the house, and making, as we say, the ones that coming up, the younger ones, as the scripture say, train our child. This is how we train our child,
right,
in the way that they should go. So as I say, when the old, it shouldn't depart from them. Look at the as we say, the age some of us are, and this knowledge wasn't even imparted unto us because we're in a land or a foreign place where it wasn't taught to us by our forefathers, by our grandparents, by our parents. Because why? Because as we say, seasons like this, customs like this, throw us or put us in a place where, again, to find this truth, we need to seek it. That's why I say seek. You seeking this truth genuinely, you would find it.
That's right.
And again, this is by example. Look, we here.
Yeah.
You're seeking to know the truth.
That's right.
You want to know your identity, who he is. And as you say, records like these is what we could read about. And again, just as I say, the uncircumcised, meaning that they didn't want us to patronate or follow the customs that our forefathers left for us. Right? And this thing become, again, abominable to us. And being abominable to us, with all, I say, all manner of uncleanness. So you imagine this, all manner of uncleanness.
That's right.
Just think about some dirty. This is what, again, these other nations, or I say the heathen, would push down on us. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 49. To the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances.
Right? And to the end, you know who the they are? They are us.
That's right.
They are so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. Right? And a lot of people, again, when our brothers and sisters here, as we say, we bring or mention Latinos or the Native Indians, and you jump on the bandwagon of the heathen. Again, we understand why you jump on, because now you don't even understand who he is. You don't even identify who he is. We'd identify ourselves with everybody else, but you know the thing about it, we would hate one another. This is why we see the escalation of black and black crime.
That's right.
We see the escalation, as we say, the abortion clinics being filled up with young sisters without the knowledge and understanding who they are. And most important, not understanding what marriage is. Because now, again, the ceremony part is what we have been trained and taught that what marriage is. But what marriage is as you say, when two become one, you could take a ring, you could get a ring now and you could pelt it away. But from the time you have that intercourse, you can't throw that away. That is something that is bound or bind forever.
That's right.
That can't change.
That's right.
You could say whatever you want, it doesn't change because you already make a commitment. Or you already give over something that was precious. And this is why we always encourage our brothers, especially men who have daughters, to train them and let them know, hey, that this time, or to know to remember that your body is a place, or it's holy, it's sacred. And from the time you let any manner of vile or uncleanness in it, then again it could lead you down to a path. Because now again, as the scripture says, thou daughters, teach them, train them. All this inside our here. This is why we say the solution to everything, to all our problems, is inside our recorded history.
Yeah, son, if I may. And just to add to the point you bring out, which is so true. Just as the brother read there, right? It said to the end that they might forget the law, right? And that's the thing that happened to our people, to black people, to Hispanic people, to Native Indian people. The more we integrate, is the more we forget ourselves. Right. Because we begin to pick up the culture of every other nation and forget our own culture. Right? And many people encourage us, come and join us, come and integrate, you understand? But you forgetting your culture, your history, your identity, who you are as a people. You understand? And that is why it's important, right? As we come here on the program tonight, right, to listen, right? Take heed, understand, and listen to what the officer bringing out, and understand that this didn't just happen by guess. You not by the radio by guess. This not coming through your airways by guess. You understand? This is the Lord doing this, right, and bringing this to the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, so that you wouldn't forget who you are. That's right? So I'm Salakia, sir.
Salakia, let's start something to what the officer was saying. Even the greatest pusher of integration, which was Martin Luther King, at the end, just before he died, he said it may have been that I integrated my people into a house of burning fire.
That's right.
And he also said, you know, he made a mistake in the rush not to be separate, meaning we should have stayed separate, right. You know. So, you know, it's important that people understand this, because all these different customs and religious practices is just we integrated into something that doesn't belong to us.
That's right.
Yeah, and again, you know, and as you draw that point, and this is why it's so important and to understand and to know. Imagine, you know, making, you know, a statement as, you know, the error that you make. It shows that to be trained up in our ways is very important. Because now as we grow older, if we were trained up in those ways now again, there's two ways to it. Either you follow or you stay in your custom, or the other way, just as again, you continue in wickedness. Right? And this is who we are as our people. Right? So you can continue on that question.
Verse 50. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said, he should die.
And this is a perfect example to see what's taking place or escalating right now in the shores or in the Caribbean Sea of you know, airspace being closed, of oil tanker being seized. Because now you don't want to follow the commandment of the king. Where's the solution to see brothers being unalive? unalive. So you telling me again, all these, as we say, just as it was being brought out, you know, on as we say, Commanding General Leana, you know, weekly podcasts, you know, concerning, you know, the boats that was being destroyed. Now you see a big oil tanker. How come you didn't destroy this oil tanker?
Okay.
So it shows a lot, right? So now again, as I say, according to the King commandment, that you know that he should die. Brothers die in what was taking place, right?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Verse 51. In the self-same manner wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city.
Right, go ahead.
Verse 52. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, everyone that forsook the laws, and so they committed evils in the land.
You see how important it is to keep these ordinances, to keep these laws, to keep these commandments. Because anytime we move away from it, what we do again, we see all the most heinous, the most abominable act that you could think about, or even not even think about. You might even think to see before your eyes is happening, because now this is who we turn to do what? To follow their ways and their customs. They have a long legacy, a long history.
That's right.
A profanity. We pick up that custom and start to join in that now, and start to do what? And start to, you know, make it to the point where it become a norm. It is not normal. Gender is a big factor in it. See, Scripture say he created ye male and female. Two, that is the only gender, male and female.
That's right.
That should be recognized. Anything outside of that, you know that as you say, that is just the works of the, as you say, a deceiver. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 53. And drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee to succor.
For succor, for safety. Wherever we could flee for safety. And again, we see in it. This is why we always mention that we're not affiliated with no religious group or organization.
Right.
Because now all these as we say, these men that left this school at Burikoff and you know, try to come up or formulate their own doctrine or their own philosophy, it have in our records to show that these men were unlearned men. This is again, and this is the helping of what we see happening right now to brothers and sisters being victims of following these other religious groups, because they don't know the history. Even here in Trinidad, a lot of these groups that come up, they don't even know the history. They just hear about it, and it have men who here travel and was amongst the brothers and them,
right,
to get again a full in depth of the history and to see in the spirit or how these men function in the spirit, and asking the same questions, where when you ask some of these groups, who taught you? And a lot of them would shun from it or run from it, because you know why? They know or the background of who is somebody who broke off from the school. Who leave, and when I say break off, who leave the brother in a place where again the enemy, as the scripture say, you leave the gates open.
Right.
For the rest of our brothers to be consumed or destroyed. You know, brother. To do that, And again, this is why Commanding General Yana always had an outstretched hand to brothers, even to now, telling brothers, hey, it's still there. You could come back and you could sit down with the brothers in the school right now. Bring your cause before, you know, the brothers. Bring your where's the issue that we have with one another? Where's the problem? But you being so being so proud and so prideful, again, this is again it's straight out of the records. And there's young brothers who wants to do it. And again, as I mentioned before, you being that stump, being that resistance towards that brother, there's a price to pay. As the scripture say, woe be unto the pastors, or woe be unto these leaders that lead my people astray. You have a I say consequences to face, and you know a nice thing, right?
And so like if I may, and if I would just add on one thing that they touch on the right, and just as they touch on the pastors, right, the because of the religious leaders of today, right, they have failed the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community, right, and just as you're bringing out in the records here, right, the king make a decree, right, and it say he put overseers, you understand, right, so that they would enforce this commandment now over the people of Israel, right, who is the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man today. You understand, and these is the things we just as they're bringing out, just as the religious leaders, because they fail. Right now, the people don't know, understand, who is the king, and they're not able to discern who is the overseer.
Right.
Understand, and all these comes in forms of the religious leaders and the politicians today, right? In our society, and you're seeing it coming down, and they're enforcing the laws coming straight down from the oppressor.
Right.
You understand, and now our life in society becoming much more difficult. Because our religious leaders, as the scripture say, the gates language it fail, and causing the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man not able to defend himself properly in this situation. So, like, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Take it. Read another more about.
Can. Verse 54. Now, the 15th day of the month, Kaselu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar, and build idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side.
Right. So now again. And this is where we at right now, and this castle is the month of December, right? So when you look what is taking place, is the same thing happening at this time, because now where all our brothers and sisters, I'll say our people is focusing right now on what is coming up. This is just commerce. So now when they set up all the, as we say, the most abominable thing, and you just read about it with swine flesh, the sacrifice on these, as you say, in these places where brothers and sisters would go to these schools and them to hear the priest.
That's right.
Bring before the people, hey, remember, you know, what our forefathers stood for. You know what we to be expected from these heathens. Because again, the record say, never trust thine enemy. Now we have to understand this. Who and what are the enemy? The enemy is these other nations. And here why they become enemies, because now they practice abominable things. This is how they become enemy. They become enemy because, you know, they live in a they become enemies because they practice abominable things. They sacrifice or they worship idols. This is how they become enemies. The Lord told us to do partake or patronate in the customs, in the ways. That why I say, learn not the ways of the heathen.
That's right.
We were not to learn their ways, because their ways are abominable. And just like a father who has children, he would say, hey, don't go there. You could be harmed, or some could come to you, or bring destruction on you. This is what has happened or been warned to us by righteous black men, by righteous, as we say, fathers of this house. And this is what we're reading about here, that the men that stood, they stand for truth because they understood what it means to be dedicated, or what it means to serve the Lord in truth.
Right.
Not just by, as you say, in just word, in truth. Follow the instructions. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 55. And burn incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. Verse 56. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire.
And you see this part? This is something to take note. The records wasn't destroyed. Like how they say the records tampered with it. The Lord always had, when you check the Most High God is our Father, and he always had a remnant. He always had men that would, I'd say, would uphold his integrity, and he will always, preserve his integrity, because now this is the Lord, this is the Most High God, this is our Father, and all that they try to do to destroy this book, because imagine now we deeming that this is the book of the oppressor. So when you open this book now, why doesn't have anything good to say about the oppressor?
That's right.
Why everything is on the negative side of the oppressor? Because you know why? The Lord had already preserved this.
That's right.
So now it's to the point, like, hey, this is what we could do. Why I think they come up with all different versions of our records. They even demonize, as we say, the king at that point, who ruled Scotland, Ireland, and England. King James.
That's right.
Was a black king from the Stuart family.
Go on.
He was in the right spirit, because, as we say, the language of the day was English language. And as a brother, to make it known to this house or to this family, let me do the translation. Because now look at us today. We're talking Latin.
Yeah.
We're talking Patois.
Yeah.
We're talking English. So the most common language of the day would be what? English, to make that translation. So now when you watch, and I say that glorious thing to see the Lord bring back these 12 brothers together.
That's right.
Bring back this family. Because now, you know what happening? Just as the scriptures mentioned that brothers who had that gifts of tongues, brothers coming into the school.
That's right.
12 or Hispanic, as you, or the tribe of Asher, come on down to the school. Come on down, as you say, this Sunday, the 14th of December. Come break bread with your brothers. Come, as you say, food and drinks would be provided.
Okay.
This house, as we say, this house is where the Lord has his reputation and his name.
That's right.
And it always oversee and take care of the families of this house, because now we understand the importance of following these instructions.
That's right.
Right? So as it say, that they rent and in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burnt with fire. So wherever they could get a hand on, they could read the next verse, Bible question, and it just to crystallize what's going on.
Come on. Verse 57. And whosoever was found with any the books of the testimony, or if any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death.
Why such a harsh judgment?
Okay.
You know, why such a harsh judgment? You know why such a harsh judgment? What we're doing right now, it could influence.
Okay.
It could enlighten.
That's right.
Or bring to remembrance the things that were before time. what we used to do. Same thing as we say, we could tell brothers, hey, don't eat pork, crab, lobster, and shrimp. We have a dietary law. As we say, go to the book of Leviticus, the 11th chapter. You would find, as we say, this dietary law that we as a family used to keep. Why I think we were so in shape or not full of sickness and diseases.
That's right.
In our bodies. Because now we follow this. Why I think now, as we say, we never used to put, as we say, the most abominable thing in our mouth. Because now it was some that would destroy the temple. As you say, the body is a temple of the Lord. This sacred, not anything supposed to be consuming in this.
Okay.
But because now, as we say, we watch the heathen full them out, as we say, with the oyster and all them certain, as we say, unclean things.
That's right.
We think that we could patronate on it. Them have a judgment. You know what those show? Those show the ratio of them dying by consuming these unclean things.
That's right.
All the unclean thing that we say that the Chinese or Moab or all these other nations consume, that those show the rate of dying. You know who the rate who they show? They show us, because now we are the ones who they would do all the tests on.
Okay.
This should be a reminder to us, right? And this is why that harsh penalty was always placed. Why I think when we speak about this, a lot of our people would be against it, or the heathen would be, because why? They would always try to integrate. Now, not so. That
That's
was
right.
then the Lord who your Lord on our with. We have laws, we have instructions. We tell them, hey, this is our family history book. This is done away with.
So like I say,
Go ahead.
if I may,
Well, if you
right?
need to chime in,
Yeah,
it's important.
and we're saying this is so important, you understand? Because when you look back in history, every time the Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian people begin some type of revolution, right? It always fails when they start to integrate with other nations, understand? And we could go right back through history, coming straight up to recent when you had all the Black Power revolution and thing. Every time we start to integrate, days where we start to fall apart, understand? I could remember not in the not too distant past, they had this organization coming up in Trinidad, and it was a Black movement, right? That was pretty recently, and many people would really remember that. I wouldn't call the name, right? And in this organization, people started to call and say, well, I'm not a Black person, but I want to join. And they would say, well, yeah, you could participate and support us, right? But that is the thing. Every time we start to join up, you understand, these outside influence start to take us. And just as we're reading in the scripture here, this is what begin to happen. You understand? The other nations always force out the quality of Black people, the history of Black people, always trying to change that perception for Black people. You understand? And the only how we able to retain that culture is for us. We have to keep our culture. We have to build our culture. You understand? And this is what the ISUPK under commanding General Hannah is doing.
That's right.
Understand that this is why this school wouldn't be watered down, because this school is for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Right? So like here.
Yeah, read that a little more.
Kind of. Verse 58. Thus did they, by their authority unto the Israelites, every month to as many as were found in the cities.
You know what's so ironic about this? It didn't say everybody. Who it say this is what who they do this to?
The Israelites.
Only a certain
right.
people. This wasn't done to everybody.
Okay.
Because now you with your influence and your truth could have a very great impact on all the other nations in following or understanding the truth, and to know, hey, that you doing this, it could be abominable unto you. And this is why, again, we do understand that when we say talk about separation, we was always separated. But business, we always used to do business. It's not to say like we weren't to join together with them.
That's right.
Just like what Amos Michael was saying.
Okay.
So now, this was again the most, as you say, the people that were targeted Just like I say, like black people is a target.
Yeah.
Like black people, we look, we're reading it right here.
Okay.
Anyway, we as we say, we become a target.
That's
because
right.
now it's like they would always have a problem with us. You know the problem that they're having with us? The truth don't change.
Okay.
The truth does not change. Right? Go ahead. And listen, this, and this, what we going and read here, this was happening way before our King Christ, or Yahweh in Hebrew.
That's right.
But you will know as Jesus Christ. This was happening way before. So this practice and this custom, this was, as we say, was enforced on who? Just as we read, the Israelites.
That's right.
Okay.
So-called blacks, Latinos, and this was forced on us. This wasn't, you know, I go do this. It was some force, and if we follow we ways, we was put to death.
That's right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Now, the 25th day of the month, they did sacrifice upon the idols' altars, which was upon the altar of God.
All right. So now, again, question. Call us, you know. Number to call 342-0081-4665-391-771-1791. What is the 25th day, right? The month, right, of the month. The 25th day of the month. There's a question for the callers, and this is in the month at Castle, or the month of December.
That's right.
Okay.
This is what was happening. They did sacrifice idol on the altar, which was upon the altar of the Lord,
Okay.
which was in the, as you say, in the Lord's sanctuary, in the Lord's, you know, where the Lord, you know, would be in the presence where brothers and sisters say when we gather together. You say where two or three are gathered in the midst, the Lord, as you say, is in the midst thereof when we gather. Right? Go ahead and continue to read. Right? So if we get a caller, we go highlight it just now. Go ahead.
Verse 60. At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised.
Right, and again, you want to know if there were righteous sisters. There were sisters that stood for these laws.
That's right.
That stood for these instructions. Because why? You know why? They were daughters that were trained up in a house where a father was present.
That's right.
Not what we see today, where they push in the black, Latino, and Native Indian community to push the black man out of the home.
Okay.
And daughters are being raised by, as we say, by what we call, as we say, beasts. Because now, why are we saying beasts? Because the mindset that they would be brought up with or taught to is from a beast.
Okay.
So now, where if you take that spirit or you take that custom of that beast, where you portray or I'll say or show the same image, and this is important to all women, because again, to know that you come from a house or family which have a structure and a standard, you need to know that.
Okay.
You need to be feminine, not try to, as we say, to override or try to rule over your head. There's always an order. Who teach you that you know you were equal counterparts? That word equality, as we say, is a lie straight from the oppressor, straight from the deceiver, because now everything has an order. It has an order. You have a role and a function to play. Just like the men would have a role and a function to play, we wouldn't be on an even playing field.
Okay.
But you know what you have? You have somebody to overlook or to oversee. That by 1 Corinthians 11:3, that structure and that order never change. Say, for God is the head of Christ. And you know, Christ is the head of a man, and the man is the head of the woman. that structure, that order never change.
Okay.
So you now moving away from that structure and that order, we see the destruction of the black home, right? Especially like now, as you see on the 5th and 20th day of the month, right? And again, just a time, what we just read about is Christmas.
Okay.
That's right.
We just read about Christmas in the times, I would say, this is just before our king came. They would way before that, because now this year the feast of dedication, this happened way before, because now it have, you know, again I think verses inside here where it say it happened way before, and they were just doing it as I remember at the time of Moses.
Okay.
They dedicated back the temple unto the Lord, because now through all, as we say, the heathen coming up against us, through wars, when they would try to come up against us, you know, as we say, on certain days, because they know who we are. This is why I tell brothers all to understand what the Sabbath is.
Okay.
And so, like I said, if I may, right? And just to touch on what the officer was just reading there, right? And also to, if I may add, and this is just a sidebar, right? The commandment, right, was to put the certain women that had their children circumcised, right? So this is a culture that happens, right, in society today, right? They try to bring the pressure down on the women, understand? And just as they bringing out the structure of the home is important, understand, where they would have a father and a mother who would be able to guide and watch over that child, understand? And they try to bring the pressure down on the women to keep the children in that culture. Right. So they wanted the children here, right, to not to be circumcised. They wanted them to remain uncircumcised, to remain in that culture, that pagan culture, and they forced that down on the mothers, understand, because they know they would have the children nurturing from a young age, right? And when you look at it, and you look at things like Christmas today, and you look at things like how it has Santa Claus and these kind of things, right? They try to focus that attention on the mother, because they know the mother would be the ones now to carry the children to all these malls and stuff, to go and see Santa and sit down on Santa lap and all these kind of things, right? And then with all that guidance now in the home, right? And that is why the structure of the home is important. Now people not watching this in a holistic way, when all these movies and media pushing upon this home, right? Because you're looking at Santa sneaking in your house in the night, midnight, as a thief. You understand where I'm coming from, right? This stranger coming into your house, and you telling your kids, hey, you mustn't talk to strangers. But this stranger, because he in a red suit, you let him in your house. This is where your children watching on the tablet, on the TV. Right? So this stranger coming in your house 12 o'clock in the night, you understand, when you sleep, when it's quiet, and leaving gifts for your children. Now, if we was to do an experiment and put the children in a secluded place like a mall or something, right, and put the parents outside to watch through the glass, and put a man in a red suit, the children will follow this man. Understand? Because they try to give Santa this qualities like if it's the Most High, and like as if he all seeing, he living in the North Pole, so he living above us. Understand? And give him this fictional quality like the Most High, and they make Santa into an idol. And this is where they try to force on the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian woman. Understand? Because the black men who happen to be struggling in society, they try to have us in the prisons and these different types of things. And this is why the importance, right? And I'm talking a little quick for time, can't we have time? But this is why the importance of the black man is to be in the home, because he's the guide, right? He's the one to be able to hold the house together. And if the man get the right teaching, he would be able to guide the woman, and the woman would be able to guide the child properly, and the house will remain in righteousness. So, like yes, sir. That's right.
The next part again, this goes with we was breaking down with the Christmas tree. All right.
That's right.
The next verse, it goes in line, and again, this is all. Every time you go to that tree, if you're so-called black, Latino, Native Indian, and you hang them balls up on those trees, this was part of the history that what they would do as we say, to your young one, to as we
That's
say,
right.
to our babies.
That's right.
This is what they would do, right? Go ahead.
Verse 61. And they hanged the infants about their necks and ruffled their houses and slew them that had circumcised them.
Right. So now we like that. When you do that, the hang, as you say, the hang your children by and the come in and the ransack your whole house.
That's right.
Okay.
When they say a ram, it's just like a thief breaking in and just because again you're not following their ways. This is the consequences, and again we see this happening right now before our eyes.
That's right.
Right. Go ahead.
Verse 62. Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing.
Right, and we upon the time, right, and again, this was a clear statement showing that not everybody follow the customs or the ways of the heathen.
That's right.
Despite we going through, as we say, wherever oppression, wherever trial, wherever tribulation, you know what we will do? We stand for these laws, and again, Lord allow, you know, on the show next week, Lord allow will, you know, we will go into that story where, you know, this woman with her 7 sons followed these instructions and stood for this.
That's right.
Right? Stood for this because again, she followed these laws, and we just read about it here that there were women that you know that they found guilty of not teaching the children to follow Christmas, to follow these they were women that were found because why? They were trained under their husband.
That's right.
Make it known to their wives or wife that, hey, make sure these children and them with my presence not being here, that you teach them, because now again 90% of the time when the man leave the home, the child is always be with the mother.
That's right.
Will always be with the mother, right? And this is important. And again, just to remind brothers and sisters with the time upon we that, you know, Sunday the 14th of December, right? The feast of dedication, which is a Kanaka, right? You can come on down to number 1 Morris Street, Point 14, right? You know, food and drinks will be provided.
That's right.
Come and break bread with your family. Again, the Lord's 57th annual Passover, right? You know, just a reminder that there's a Passover fee, right? You can go up on isupk.com, right? If you're here in Trinidad and you know you just travel, right? You can come on down to Houston, Texas, right? Where you again on April 4th, where you know we meet brothers and sisters again for the Lord 57th annual Passover. Again, Commanding General Yohanas, you know, holding down this truth, you know, for you know a short time, and in his short time, you know, he has done, you know, or continue to do the work of the Lord, which is to, you know, to remind brothers as he was reminded, to remind this house or this family as he was reminded, to have that impact on this household, to have an impact on brothers and sisters, knowing and coming back to these instructions.
That's right.
Right? This is important for us. You know, anything?
Yeah. So like, just before we go, I just like to say that as we within the season, understand, right? And I believe one of the brothers was bringing all this before, understand. For the parents, don't give your glory away to a fat man in a red suit.
Right.
Understand? Tell the children, you buy the gift, you work hard, you sweat for it. Understand? You put in the work and you buying something for your child, your son or your daughter.
That's right.
Understand? Let them know you buy it. Understand? Right? Don't give your glory away to some idol, right? In this pagan season, right? So like,
just to end, reminding brothers and sisters out there, ISUPK Trinidad has classes every week.
That's right.
You could get it on YouTube, you could get it on Facebook. You also could get all the content at ISUPK Trinidad and Tobago on all the different social media platforms.
Right. So again, again, Commandant General Yana has, his podcast during the week as well. You can check him every Monday, right, at, Commandant General Yana Black Watch, right, where all the news, current issues going on around the world, right, is being brought, to enlighten black people what is taking place. And again, back on a Wednesday, where, he has, a team, of men that was raised up under needed watchful eyes, captains, in school, holding it down. And again, Commanding General and being, again, the hardest working man. And when we say hard, as you say, no lighting. To wake up brothers and sisters through the four corners of the earth, it must be in the spirit of the Lord. They must have that patience.
That's right.
And he demonstrated that patience for his time in the truth and, in raising up brothers and sisters in this work, right? Again, he has a full, team of generals, very, experienced in the truth.
ISUPK Trinidad and Tobago under Commanding General Yohana. We will be live on the streets 91.9 FM every Thursday from 7 p.m. Hosted by Officer Sawapya Allah and Officer Mathkoyak.
West to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me.
ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana. Live every Thursday night from 7 p.m. on the streets 91.9 FM.
Join the winning team with Pastor Alkaline John
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on the street 919 FM as he talks about Lviv, the power of 5 fruits, one of the most powerful antioxidant supplements on the market today. The 5 superfruits in Lviv are mangosteen, acai, pomegranate, goji, and nuni. These fruits have a positive and profound impact on human health performance and disease. Join him as he gives live testimonials of the Lviv healing powers. To get more information, you can contact Pastor Alkaline John at 516-286-7079, or you can visit his webpage at www.alkalinejohn.com. Remember,
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on the street 919 FM.
Hi, great evening, everyone. Nice to be here again. And, we're here morning time, evening time, night time, noon time. We are here just to bring the good news. And the good news we bring is, the gospel is referred to as the true word. So when you hear gospel, that is what it means. So we are just here to bring you the gospel of health, whereby the body has the ability to heal itself. It's innate ability, meaning natural ability to heal itself. That's why I call our program the Alkaline Hour, because we are teaching you, we are here to teach you and share with you, if you alkaline your blood pH to 7.365, how the body has the ability to reduce the oxidative damage or stress in the body and becomes alkaline to 7.365, and now the body has the ability to heal itself. So we don't heal anybody. Let's get that straight, clear up front. What happens? The body has the ability to heal itself, and it all depends on what you give it. So if you give the body the correct things, it will. But if you give it the bad things, it won't. You will get sick. There's no two ways about it, guys. Trust me when I tell you. You keep eating the bad things, here's what. Live long, and you're going to hear eventually you too are sick. Don't point a finger at no one. They say, as the old people say, what miss you ain't pass you. The longest rope has an end, and time is longer than twine. You hear that, eh? That is them old people saying, and it is true. It is true, because my personal experience is that they've been telling me, stop doing this, stop eating that. And before you know it, diabetes struck. And diabetes struck in such a way, you have a rotten toe. Folks, it is not easy. But I thank God that I was able to give my body all the nutrition and my body healed itself. So let's get started right away, guys, because